right, what's up, everybody? Matt Modi here with OddsJam, here to give you a betting preview of one of the better March Madness games we have going on tomorrow, Saturday, March 18th. And of course, as you see on the screen here, we're looking at Alabama versus Maryland. So first, what I'm going to be doing in this video is just going through a little bit of a betting preview of the game itself, looking at the stats of the teams, the best players to look out for, stuff like that. And then, of course, most importantly, looking through the odds among all of the sports books and seeing where we can find some value. Of course, the screen that I'm looking at is completely free to use. Just go to Sports, March Madness, and you can find whichever game you are looking for, and you can do all this line shopping for completely free. So, Maryland versus Alabama. Alabama, obviously the number one seed in the entire tournament, having just an incredible year, obviously marred in controversy, which I will not get into. But in terms of their raw stats, they're third in the NCAA in terms of their KenPom rating. So they're rated according to KenPom, which is just an advanced analytics site, as the third best team in the entire nation, with the 19th best offense and the third best defense. I'll admit the defense part of that kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting them to be as highly rated defensively, because when you think of a Nate Oates coached basketball team, you think of like fast-paced offense, gets up a lot of shots, not necessarily stout on defense. So that was surprising. On the Maryland side, they rank better than I think a lot of people would have thought, as the 19th best team according to college basketball, with the 29th best offense and the 32nd best defense. So a pretty well-rounded team when you think about it. Obviously, Alabama being here just blew the doors off of their first round opponent, won by like 22, something like that. Maryland is here somewhat luckily beating West Virginia, who West Virginia kind of blew that game at the end, but props to Maryland for coming back and winning. In terms of players to look out for, obviously everybody knows about Brandon Miller for Alabama, leads the team in both points and rebounds per game, projected lottery pick in the NBA draft this coming year. On the Maryland side, their best player is Jameer Young, who leads the team in both points and assists. But when I think about this game without looking at the odds, Alabama, I will admit, is kind of a harder team for me to rely on, because their game is very similar to an NBA team, which is basically just three-pointers and layups, nothing in between. And I think, in college basketball, if you get a game where they just have a cold shooting night, they can be had. But in terms of talent, team's incredible. Obviously, no surprise here that they are the heavy favorite, best offered on the money line at minus 350 at FanDuel. In terms of the Maryland side, best offered at plus 320 at Caesars. What I like to do to see if there's any value in these games is just click this little button here that shows you the no vig odds. This gives you the fair line of where sportsbooks are pricing odds at. And I like to compare it to the sharp sportsbooks, most notably Pinnacle here. So Pinnacle has the fair odds of Bama at minus 320, of Maryland at plus 320. So there's really no value here on any of these teams' money line. If anything, Maryland has neutral value at plus 320. What's more interesting to me is the point spread, which has Alabama between 7.5 and 8.5 point favorites, depending on where you look. Now, the 7.5 is what jumps out to me. Whenever I am line shopping and I'm looking to see if there's any value, I first look at where the sharp sportsbooks have these priced. And the sharp sportsbooks in this case, Pinnacle, BetOnline, Bookmaker, and Circa. And if you look at the four, they all have this spread at either 8 or 8.5, right? Like Pinnacle has it at 8.5, as does Circa and Bookmaker. And then BetOnline has it at minus 8. So this minus 7.5 at FanDuel does have some value here. Now, obviously, it's a little bit juiced at minus 120, so you're paying for that value a little bit. But I do like Alabama to win and cover in this game. So I do like Alabama minus 7.5. I know I mentioned that they kind of make me nervous with how they play, but I personally think that Maryland is living a little bit on borrowed time with their performance in the first game. Now, obviously, we've seen teams eke out wins in their first couple rounds and make a huge run in the tournament. So obviously that's not saying that there's no chance that Maryland plays well in their next game. But to me, I'm following the value, I'm following the math, and I'm following the sharp sports books. And we're going to go ahead and go with Alabama minus 7.5 at minus 120 as my official prediction for this game. So if you're riding with me, if you're tailing, comment and let me know. Other than that, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and look out on this YouTube channel for more betting previews for the bigger games for all of the March Madness games. And that's it. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and have a good one.